Hi, my name is Catherine Bakeroot, and today I will be presenting a topic in information architecture on folksonomies. Folksonomies developed from social tagging that has occurred within information environments. Folksonomies are the classification of structures that emerge from the aggregation of individual annotations in social tagging systems. These annotations reveal themselves in the form of tagging. Tagging is the actual process of creating one or more keyword labels, otherwise referred to as tags, and associating them with a digital information object. These digital information objects can take many forms depending on their social environment. Tags have been used for objects such as web posts, professional news articles, pictures, videos, and library catalog records. Folksonomy is the concept that has transpired to create a new wave of classification systems, arguably one that may transform the future of our digital organization structures. Now, before proceeding any further, it's important to cover some terminology that does have an impact on folksonomy. According to Merriam-Webster.com, taxonomy has two primary definitions: the study of the general principles of scientific classification and the orderly classification of plants and animals according to their presumed natural relationships. Ontology is another important term, which also has two definitions. Ontology is a branch of metaphysics concerned with the nature and relations of being, and a particular theory about the nature of being or the kinds of things that have existence. So you may ask, how does this pertain to folksonomy? Well, initially it's a little difficult to ascertain how these terms relate. Summed up, taxonomy and ontology are concepts that describe how people create relationships between objects in the world and then how we organize these objects. With the ever-changing internet, our means for understanding and organizing the world are bound to change too. In order to adapt to these changes, we must create new methods for understanding and build structures that best represent this information. This is what folksonomies have been able to do. Breaking it down. The term folksonomy was first named by Thomas van der Waal in 2004. The word itself is a portmanteau of folk and taxonomy. Folk being derived from the fact that the internet community was performing the action, and taxonomy being the action of categorizing information into a hierarchy. What is so interesting about folksonomies, which can be said to have helped found its ingenuity, is that the internet users as a collective, the lay people, are both the contributors and the creators of this organization of shared resources. So if you've tagged something before, get excited. You're part of history. This is such a novel concept for us because traditionally the categorization of information, or ontology, was performed by professionals. Not only was it done by professionals at a fairly steep price, but the structural organization of these categorizations was performed in a much different way. Traditional ontology is performed from a top-down approach where a hierarchy exists, whereas folksonomies represent a collaborative democracy of information organization. This image is a representation of the way in which WordPress has utilized folksonomies to improve usability on their blogging website platform. The search query I used on WordPress's Discover page was politics. This populated a list of the most recent posts that have been tagged with politics. Their algorithm has varied slightly as they have included synonymous tags to be included in the results. They even went so far as to include synonymous words from other languages. The first article that appeared is written in Spanish, and its tag is elecciones, or in English, elections. There are three types of tagging that have been identified within the concept of folksonomies. They serve different roles within the organizational system and are not used equally. Their necessity is determined by their author, and these types include administrative, structural, and descriptive tagging. Administrative tags are one of the more infrequently used of the tag types. According to the National Information Standards Organization, administrative tagging is used primarily for managing information and its resources. This type of tag is often used for archival and retrieval as well as long-term management of information. Some examples of this type of tagging include file types, file sizes, and the creation dates and times. For example, when describing this PowerPoint, I would include the following types of tags such as March 10th, 2017, or the extension of .pptx. Although it does not necessarily tag the content of the digital object, administrative tagging is great for legacy and information maintenance. Structural tagging describes relationships. These relationships can be portrayed in various forms such as sequence of pages. They are also used to describe the location of an object's place in a hierarchy. Structural tagging often describes navigational tools, such as menus, table of contents, header types, and objects such as these. Descriptive tagging is the most commonly used of all the tag types. According to the National Information Standards Organization, descriptive tagging is the information about the content of a resource that aids in finding or understanding it. As interpreted, descriptive tags are primarily used for the discovery of information, which would include tags such as titles, authors, subjects, genres, and publication dates. Descriptors are the types of terms we use when browsing and searching for information on the web. Although these tags differ in application, they enable us to search and locate information in many different ways. Folksonomy is developed as its own classification system because of the type of environment the internet has become. As a chaotic place of ubiquitous information, we needed a new means of organizing information that could survive in such an unruly place. Tagging is a result of collaboration and agreement from millions of users across the web and around the globe. There are 4 aspects needed to foster a tagging environment. These include diverse opinions, independent decision-making, decentralized power, and aggregation of opinions. Because people of various cultures are all working together to classify, categorize, and organize information, the internet is the perfect place for fostering folksonomies. It is difficult to visualize the concept of tagging because it is spread all over and it's not really clear how this would be communicated. Recently, tags have been communicated in what has become known as tag clouds. These tag clouds can take various shapes. However, the importance and popularity of a tag is portrayed by its word size and its color. Despite the ability of ontologies and folksonomies to support organization and categorization of information, there are limitations to both of these concepts. The diversity of opinion has enabled us to determine which concept is best used in certain environments. Ontologies and folksonomies have decidedly different purposes in our world of information overload, and there are pros and cons for each. Starting with ontology, this type of system has enabled experts and professionals to successfully create order for years. The primary premise of ontology is the use of hierarchies for managing file systems. The use of hierarchies is especially useful for users that are browsing. If you are browsing, having a list of categories or topics makes it easier to locate an item or find something you may not have realized you were looking for. Within ontology, professionals are equally committed to using administrative, descriptive, and structural category types. One of the primary issues with the use of ontologies on the web is that there is no actual concept of a shelf. Traditionally, ontologies have been used by librarians to classify information, and often based on the amount of shelf size that is available to them. The internet is an information overload, and this does not really foster an environment where this type of organization would be useful. Additionally, ontologies make assumptions about how users relate content and interpret information. This is especially difficult if words used to describe content are unfamiliar to the users. In general, this is a classification system that is best used in a different environment, one that is physical and not necessarily digital. Folksonomies have provided many answers to the problems presented by this new wave of information. There are no rules for tagging, which enables users to freely add tags to an object that they feel best describe it. Over time, patterns emerge from the use of tags, and those analyzing the tags can view vocabularies that have generated, as well as view synonymous words. Additionally, user tagging is inexpensive, is collaborative, and the ubiquitous amount of information on the web provides this opportunity to many different people. Although there are many benefits to this type of system, there are also some drawbacks. Because there are no specific rules for tagging content, this can often lead to ambiguous tags that are difficult to interpret. It can also lead to spelling inconsistencies and duplications of words. They may even exclude words from different languages that may be used for the same concept. Overall, folksonomies have influenced information architecture in many exciting ways. Not only is it a new means of organization and structure of information, but it has also impacted our means of searching and browsing for information on the internet. This, in turn, can also influence how we understand information. The more people partake in the activities that create folksonomies, the more diverse information will be available to us. Thank you very much. My resources are listed on this final slide. Have a great day.